If you've been following this channel for a while, you know few things scare me more than sharks. Though I've done it before, I don't swim in the ocean. I write off my previous ventures to the beach as reckless childhood enthusiasm, and I don't know how I was able to swim up to my neck on beaches, not knowing the type of creatures that were swirling around my feet. So whenever a new shark film comes out, I try to catch it. Simply because I'm weird and like to be scared. The newly released Dangerous Animals is a different kind of shark movie. Let's talk about it. Dangerous Animals is new in theaters from IFC Films and Shudder. It's directed by Byrne and written by Lepard. The free-spirited Zephyr, played by Hassie Harrison, doesn't want to be tied down with relationships and heads to Australia to live out of her van and surf. But as she preps for an early morning wave ride, Zephyr is abducted by Tucker, played by Jai Courtney, a brutal serial killer who runs a Swim with the Sharks boat tour and uses the abundance of sharks in the middle of the ocean off the coast to dispose of his victims. Bound with chains in the hull, Zephyr and another abductee, Heather, played by Ella Newton, are up next to fill Tucker's and the hungry shark's appetite for flesh. While there's a heavy dose of potent shark action in Dangerous Animals, it's not really a shark movie. Shark movies tend to be man versus nature films where nature's frustration is personified by a giant man-eating shark, or sharks, that relentlessly pursue the protagonist, acting as if it just cut them off in traffic, despite the fact that in nature, sharks really don't give a shit. They don't really get mad, they don't hold grudges, and they never fixate on one person or persons once that party starts to fight back. In Dangerous Animals, the sharks are a means to an end for our serial killer, Tucker. They represent the apex predator, and that's what Tucker believes he is. He's a giant, bulky, and savage man who takes what he wants with confidence and deadly force. Tucker goes out of his way to explain this to his victims, taking pleasure in inciting fear as much as he does watching them get devoured by the sharks. He also recognizes that Zephyr has the same qualities that he does. She's a loner.
You don't want to get mixed up with a guy like me. I'm a loner, Daddy. A rebel.
But with very few ties to others, yet will fight ruthlessly to survive. The film does a good job of likening Zephyr with the shark, down to a very intense scene where she stares one right in the eye, making a connection with the animal that few could do. I know about this a bit myself, as this photo proves, when I had quite an intense connection with a manatee last time I visited Florida. But how similar Zephyr is to a shark leads to a crucial flaw in the story that I'll get to a bit later. Dangerous Animals is a brutal movie. It doesn't shy away from the gore as it shows people being torn to shreds by the sharks. At the same time, Jai Courtney adds a vicious physicality to his performance as Tucker, basically tearing apart anything in his path as well. In many ways, this might be considered a slight version of torture porn, as it does feature a bound person being forced to watch physical devastation and enduring that devastation themselves. But the focus here is on the victim, the serial killer, and the sharks, and there's less of a spotlight on the torture. So those who are turned off by torture porn films have other things to pay attention to if you take a chance on this one. While he tried his hand with heroic leading men roles in Terminator Genisys, A Good Day to Die Hard, and Divergent, Jai Courtney seems to be much more convincing, confident, and have much more fun with villainous roles as seen in Suicide Squad and The Terminal List. He's absolutely horrifying in Dangerous Animals, and I hope this film gets him some more meaty villain roles to play. Whether he's taking on his rowdy prisoners, fascinated by watching the sharks eat people through his VHS video camera, or dancing like a roided-up Buffalo Bill and chugging liquor in his boat galley, Courtney is toxic masculinity at its absolute best. That's a compliment for those in the cheap seats. There is a sort of message here, as Tucker is very much an abusive male, looking to lord his power over bound and weaker women, and Zephyr herself represents the exact type of woman that thrills and terrifies him, herself digging her nails into his psyche, confronting him on his mother issues in one particular scene. But honestly, that type of divisive man versus woman talk bores me, and thankfully, the film doesn't lean into it too hard. Hassie Harrison is believable as Zephyr, who is in every way just as much of a shark as Tucker despite her small stature. The film is an ordeal for her, and nothing comes easy. The series of events that plays out is maddening as every attempt to escape is thwarted by Courtney. But the strength of her character is that she endures. Harrison's also quite beautiful, looking like someone took the prettier parts of both Jennifer Lawrence and Shailene Woodley and smooshed them together into a Kate Beckinsale mold, if you can imagine that. This was a physically demanding role, and Harrison did it seemingly with ease. This leads to the ending, which is the only thing I had issue with in Dangerous Animals. I'm not going to get into spoilerific specifics here, but all through the film, it really drives the point home that Zephyr is even more of a shark than Tucker, even so much that she is able to accomplish the aforementioned looking into the shark eyes scene. But later, the film goes for a more conventional Hollywood ending than committing to the bit that Zephyr is this cold-hearted loner. Sure, the happier ending might show a bit of growth in the character, but I feel that with the fact that this is such a brutal and vicious film, it should have had a more nihilistic sort of end. I feel that the ending that Dangerous Animals chose is going to be more of a crowd pleaser, but I feel a darker end would have kept closer to the main themes. That aside, Dangerous Animals is a brutal film. Courtney gives a truly iconic performance as a villain worthy of a sequel or maybe even a prequel. Harrison is a true up-and-comer, and the shark stuff made my toes curl so hard they almost broke. Not for the squeamish, Dangerous Animals may not be as intense as Sean Byrne's previous films, The Loved Ones and The Devil's Candy, but it is a devastating powerhouse of a horror film that bites hard. That's also meant as a compliment, by the way. What say you? Are you scared of shark films? There's a ton of them out there. Not all of them are good. I even made a bad one. Still, they scare me every time. What are your thoughts? And are you going to go see Dangerous Animals? Let me know down in the comments. Please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're doomed. Oh, you're doomed. You're doomed. Live the life that you are meant to be. Live inside that